right, guys, welcome back to State of the Sexes podcast, where there's been a lot of buzzwords here. We'll be talking a lot, about singlehood, and now we're about to talk about marriage. A lot of people have missed it in life. A lot of lives have been lost because they ended up with the wrong person. And this is a very serious topic because society is telling us different things about marriage. We have so many relationship therapists, so many advice. You must this, you must meet this. And, people are completely taking this thing out of context. And that's why we really need to discuss it. We have Mercy. See here, she's been 7 years. You've been married for 7 years. That's amazing.
Thank you.
So how did you meet your husband? How did you know that it was the one?
This is so funny. Oh my God, I never thought you would ask me that.
Okay.
Because I met my husband when I had a relationship which I was really serious about. We'd been dating for 4 years. Not my husband, the person, my ex, before my husband. But for some reason, our values didn't align. So I tried to break it off. But men, ego and everything. So it was a bit tough. So I just come out of that, and I told myself, like you said, I think I have to just take a pause on this thing and just rest. Let me just. It's been a while I've been with myself, So I was about that for a couple of months. I actually met my husband in the church. So I went to church one morning. And I got in late. So I was about to sit down. There was a seat beside my husband, but there was a Bible on it. And for some reason, he shifted the Bible and said, "Oh, you can sit here." So then I was like, "Oh, thank you. That's really thoughtful," because I was scanning and I really didn't see an available seat, right? So then after the service, the pastor was like, "Turn to your neighbor and say, 'Surely goodness.'" So, he was my neighbor. So I shook his hand. I was like, "Surely goodness," all that stuff. And that was the end of the service. I was like, "Oh, but thank you so much for what you did earlier. Do you stay around? We could hang out." I was even the one that initiated the friendship, right?
Okay.
So I was like, "Oh yes," he stays just behind the church, and we exchanged contacts and kept in touch. We dated for less than 6 months and we got married.
Wow.
It was that easy for me, and this is why I'm going to tell you. When we first hung out, I told him, "I'm just coming from a very traumatizing breakup. Please, all those things that I had to deal with, the deceit, the lies, I don't think I want to do them anymore. Please, just tell me what you want. If I'm not the person you want, just tell me. Then I can just take a walk." And my husband has been very truthful and still truthful till this day. Like, he tells me things. People like him would disagree with, but I think it helped me to say this is a good man and help me stick with him. Because in our relationship for the brief time we dated, I didn't have to deal with distrust or whatever people deal with these days. Like, where are you? And he vice versa. I'm going to say that because the moment we agreed to date each other, I never saw other people. I never, disregarded the agreements that we had. So I think that's what has helped me. That's what helped me, go into the marriage and still stay in the marriage because I'm still there.
So the bedrock is trust.
Yes, trust.
So you said what King would disagree with? What would I disagree with?
Oh, I think he's a very honest person, actually.
Yeah.
King, you are really, really controversial because there are some things. If I tell you my husband, probably did doing it, you like, "Oh no, he's not a man."
No.
Okay, he did some sim stuff.
No, I wouldn't say sim. I wouldn't say
I think women have a very, very wrong misconception about me. I am not against treating a woman good. I am just against treating a bad woman good. A woman that is not deserving of it.
What is your definition of a bad woman?
A disrespectful woman. A manipulative woman.
A masculine
Now,
woman.
the moment you want to manipulate me, you don't love me. I can't believe you love me. You are automatically bad if you want to manipulate me. Because if you're a good woman and you truly love me, manipulation should not cross your mind. If manipulation crosses your mind, also for a man too, makes him a bad man.
On some level, are all women not?
We are manipulative.
People are very manipulative.
No, so I manipulate my children.
No,
So
there
I
is some-
manipulate
there is
my
positive
husband.
manipulation now.
Yes.
Now,
This is a live podcast.
you can propel your husband to achieve greater things by manipulating him into doing things that is great.
So you're saying there's a good manipulation?
Yes, there is.
Yes.
There is good manipulation.
Please
There's
say
a way.
it, oh.
There's a way you can
So,
talk.
but we won't say
There's a
manipulation.
way.
We'll call
there's-
it motivation.
No, not. See,
That is good motivation.
But here's
But it's
the
bad is manipulation.
Okay.
here's the thing. There's a way to make a man feel like your idea is his idea. You know, and it's not by being masculine with him. One thing with men is that when you face us head on, it becomes a battle. It's a war. If there was an experiment carried out where they throw chairs around and they ask a group of men to arrange it, what did they do? They arrange it side by side. They don't want to face each other. They asked women to do the same thing. They made it into a circle and sat and faced each other. So we need to understand the way women think, the way men think.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people think they can just be manipulative to men. And let me tell you something. When a woman sees a man, she sees two things. She either sees a king or a simp. The way that man carries himself, the way he acts around her, the way he makes sure that, okay, these are my principles and I'm standing on it. If you like it, you can stay. If you don't like it, you can go. Because at the end of the day, you as the woman wants that man to lead. You cannot lead. You cannot be led by someone that you don't respect.
Mercy, was that how you felt when you met your husband?
Oh yes, he was. He is a leader. Like he.
So why do you say I would disagree with
This
him?
is so funny. Like he set the standard for the way the house runs, and I just support.
You supported.
He
Now,
is a
just
leader.
imagine that you were the type that was always confrontational with him. Do you think you will be here right now, being married to him with 2 kids?
I wouldn't want to confront him because his ideas make sense. So it's
Right.
except you're a man
And even
person.
when it doesn't make sense, how do you
yeah,
deal
even
with
if
that?
if it doesn't make
Yeah.
sense, then we come to an agreement. Yeah, we discuss about it. I'm like, why not try this way? So there is this mutual understanding that nobody is high. But if you are bringing an idea and it totally makes sense, why would I want to confront with you? Why would I want to get into a confrontation with you?
All right.
You understand? Yeah.
So I think I agree with what you're saying. A lot
Yeah.
of times, women we just assume that we're the same. If I feel like this, I should be able to say it like this. Which, of course, we have to know that fundamentally we're not the same as men.
We are not.
Yeah, and we need to really revel in our femininity. The moment
you want to treat the king in a man. You want to talk to the king in a man. No matter how. I was having this conversation with someone that, some people, when they are dating and all of that, the way they talk to their partners, both male and female. For your woman, you want to talk to the queen in her. You don't just back orders at her and all of that. She's not a slave. You understand? And I said, see, I'm sorry, anybody will take offense, but I tell people, girls, don't even date a broke guy, to be honest, because the nature of a woman will resent a guy that is not a provider. But no matter what she has, will resent. So, and here's the thing, you hear a lot of cases of, I dated him for a while and, after 7 years, he wasted my time and all of that. Now, a man never forgets when you treated him with disrespect. It can be, maybe you didn't even say anything, but it can be your body language. This AC, this room, there's no AC. Yes, I just suffer for here with you. The guy might just lock up and, be enjoying the moment. But trust me, once that guy is in a better position, he doesn't want to be with a woman that he heard those things from.
So respect is like the biggest thing.
It's the biggest thing for a man.
So there was a story I saw online. Let's just dive into it very quickly, right? So a girl said her husband canceled their honeymoon because he found out that on the day of the wedding, she sent a goodbye text to her ex.
Amen. That's my G.
Oh my God, king.
She can't understand why is he overreacting? It was just a goodbye
Why are you
text.
why are you still communicating with your ex?
Why even on the
Until the
wedding?
day
That
of
means
your
all he
wedding.
had while he was dating
I
you
think
was
I have
not,
to agree
he
with
didn't really
King
have
here,
you
oh.
fully, yeah.
To the wall.
She collected before the wedding day. That guy.
Okay, can I add a story to this?
Yeah.
Since we're still talking about marriage.
Okay.
Now, this girl cancelled her wedding. Why? She brought it on the internet to say that she thinks she's getting married for the wrong reasons and all of that.
Okay.
So we that were the insiders that we really know the couple, then we started investigating, and then one of her girls actually came up and said that her sugar daddy said if she gets married to this guy, he's going to cut all the fundings that he gives to her. Her monthly allowance, everything is going to go off.
A friend said, that's not a friend.
You understand?
I don't know if I should believe this story.
No,
That's a friend, actually.
The truth is that is
told
a
other
real
people
friend.
that this is the truth.
That is a real friend.
That is a real friend.
that is a real friend.
You're just
Because she was not happy
gonna.
because she
you're not
knows
getting
that this thing is not even fair
It is
to this
guy.
woman, to
It
the
is-
guy.
yes,
This guy has
it is
spent a
wrong.
lot,
Like you're-
brought
you're-
families
okay.
over from abroad.
Yeah.
It is
Families that live abroad, he paid for tickets and everything. And at the last minute, you're cutting it up because you have a text from a sugar daddy telling you that he's going to cut fundings. And the little things that the lady said, she wants to support the wedding with, that she will pay for this and all of that, that was sponsored by the sugar daddy. The money she gets from the sugar
Based
daddy.
on what you heard, though. See, we have to be very careful when we are repeating these kind of things, right?
I'm not saying
So it's not for a fact. It was
it's a fact
hearsay.
because
it was based on hearsay.
it was a fact because the husband to be found out and he confronted her about it and she started crying and all of that and
okay.
everything
Okay,
spoiled. And this person is actually a popular person and actually came on the internet to write that that she didn't think she was getting married for the right reasons and all of that, and that's why she's cutting it off. You understand? So it's just crazy. But moving forward, we have someone that have been in a successful marriage, but I want to tell you something. Were there days in your marriage that, I want to ask you something rather, were there days in your marriage that you felt like, do I really love this person? Were there times like that?
plenty of times.
It's love enough.
Okay, please. The short answer is love is not enough. Remember, I told you I didn't, when I told my story about meeting I didn't say I loved him. I said there was trust. So love is not, if you are going to marry someone because you love the person, I'm sorry, but there days will come where that's not going to sustain you, so you need more than love.
Love is a decision. Anyway.
Yes.
So that means you married for value.
Of everything, we are all selling ourselves.
It's all about value.
Yes, it's all about
I love
value.
what you
Pharaoh
said.
because of value.
Yeah,
We're doing this podcast for value. It's
Yes,
all our relationship. It's all about
around
value.
us.
Yeah.
If something is not giving you
Ladies believe
value,
they should marry for love. Guys even believe they should marry for love.
that's a wrong idea.
That we are here for marriage.
Yes, he asked me if there are some days in my marriage. Well, in my first year of marriage, I almost ran away. So this is a public podcast. I am not hiding anything.
Yeah.
I almost ran away because when we started living together, your eyes go open. Like there were things. I was like, God, can I really live with this? But then trust comes in. That reassuring trust that say, okay, we can actually deal with this together.
Person, yeah.
So that's where some little bits of love, friendship, it fills in like a cup and helps you sail through that moment. Every marriage, regardless of if the man is rich or the man is poor, goes through stages. There's the honeymoon phase where everybody's in love with each other. You can't do anything wrong. I'm talking from experience.
Maybe you're perfect.
Then after that, a storm is going to hit you. Now, it for me, it was finance. My husband was really okay when we got married. Like our wedding was very, very,
Glamorous.
yeah, you could say that. But after some time, things were rough. And for most marriages, that is when you really know the woman you married. If the woman will not stay past that period, you know that you have made a mistake. Yeah. So it's a testing period, even for the man. Because some men, the way they behave when they don't have money is terrible. They don't like it. They behave really because they are supposed to be a provider. Now they are not in that space to provide, and you see the ego, they are fighting with themselves. And as a woman, you are just trying to manage the home. Now you have to still manage your husband. So it's a lot. Now, if you have children or a child, just imagine, it was a bit tough for me. But when we got through that phase, the thing is, if you can go through the storm, the calm is always very, very, we went through that phase, and when things became picked up and everything, I'm not going to lie that we still quarrel. Even till this morning, we had a fight. But it's going to be a walk in the park. I'll be like, you come to the room and shut the door, like, please, I'm not ready to talk. And like, we talk over it. But it doesn't mean that it won't going to happen. So love for me is not enough. That's my own opinion. Yeah. And there are going to be days. I'm just 7 years. And to some people, I'm just a baby. There are still days coming where storms are going to hit. We're still going to overcome them. So it's a never-ending journey that you have to go. And mind you are going with somebody else, somebody you didn't grow up with. You don't know. So every day when you wake up is an avenue for you to discover who your partner is. So it's not a university you graduate from. So yes,
these days that we are having a lot of advice out there is that once you have headache, leave. Once they match your leg by mistake, leave. Once you do this, leave. What advice do you have for people, even for men? Because we as men, we also want to learn. Being married for 7 years, what advice do you have for men to keep the home going in their role as a leader, the head of the home, and all of that? What advice, basically?
So, one of the major characteristics of a good CEO or a good manager is the ability to communicate. So some companies even send their managers abroad to go and learn communication skills. To tell you that it is very important. Extremely. But most, I'm sorry, most men, like King will say, they don't know how to communicate.
They don't know how to communicate.
Yes,
or general,
Yes.
Do men not know how to communicate, or there's a response they get when they communicate that makes them shut down?
See,
men don't know how to communicate. Women don't know how to comprehend.
Thank you. See, for this one, I'm going to...
Now listen, men don't know how to communicate, and women don't know how to comprehend, which means a man does not know how to extensively, emotionally break down things to the last bit. I've seen it a lot of times. I'll be like, I think I'm among one of the few men that can sit down and break down things. But I see that with guys, they put it out there and that's it.
Yeah.
So, and then why for women is that if they now have a man that is emotionally intelligent and aware and they can communicate.
Yes,
they don't comprehend. They start thinking about what the man is saying rather than how that thing is making him feel that he's saying. Because I said this thing, right? Relationship, I think marriage, I told my mother this thing, I said, is a two-person thing. My happiness. Sorry, my happiness is your priority. Your happiness is my priority.
Yes.
The moment she is coming to complain something about me, right, I have to understand where she's coming from. It's about her. The moment I'm talking about something that hurts me, it's about me. It's not about her. The problem is this. We try to make it about ourselves.
Yes.
So that's why I said, one man cannot communicate. So
we're not focused on the message, but how it was said.
Exactly. So women don't know how to comprehend. So the men that know how to communicate. Then the men cannot communicate.
Most men can't communicate.
Men prefer to just see. I'm saying guys know this thing. A girl will fuck up. A guy will keep quiet and in his head.
Yes.
He will make a decision.
Yes.
He will not tell the girl that, yo, sit down.
Why did you do this?
They will tell you it's stressful.
Is there a reason for that?
It's needed because
as a man.
Now let me say why it's needed.
I say, is there a reason why this man is shutting down? Because one thing is that at the end of the day, whether we look for peace in a wrong way or in the right way, what men want is peace. So do I really want to communicate with you that we end up in a 2-hour argument or 2-hour confrontation, or just let it go, lock up, and then
letting go is not a way to
Pharaoh,
sort it
if
out.
you don't
Letting
spend 2
go, you're
hours
suppressing
now
emotions.
to
Yeah,
talk
you're not gonna
about
get
it
peace that way.
in your old age, our body leaves scars.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Our body leaves scars. And I tell my husband, when I got married, there was this rule that we had that nobody would go to bed angry. In the second year, I called it, I said, I'm going to change that rule because it's not going to work for me. Yeah, I was the one that said it. And I
need
said,
all night.
it's not going to work for me. Please.
I need all night to
Yeah,
think.
exactly.
Yeah,
I need to
let's
think
go to
about it
bed.
and
Yeah.
we need to talk
Let's
about
process.
it.
Yeah.
So now it takes 2 weeks, but we make sure we talk. Sometimes we spend hours dissecting what did you mean when you said it like this? Explain to me, communicate to me, right? So and if men don't know, learn how to. The thing is, and this is from our childhood, the way we were raised.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure any of us saw our father and our mother even have discussions about their relationship. So
go and hide.
Yes. So that communication was not taught. You have to go and learn
smiles.
it.
Yeah.
You can't say, "Oh, my wife not they understand." No, do you communicate in the way she would understand? That is your number one assignment as a husband, to be able to communicate with your wife. I think the part where they write in the Bible, this Bible was translated. They say, "Men, love your wife." It's not love. Men, communicate with your wife.
In which version?
No, I'm just saying because it was translated, so the love part can be dissected into different things.
Yeah.
And he said, "Women, what?
Respect
your husband." That is what, and what in King's word is try to understand what your husband is saying.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way. It is the only way, honestly.
Now, to follow what Pharaoh said, one reason why I was saying men don't communicate is, like I said, because women don't comprehend. And if you communicate, what you said can be used against you, then the man falls back into his shell. I think one thing that we can tell the women is, don't use what that man told you during his vulnerable stage against him later. Because that will make him shut
and
out
vice
more.
versa.
I don't use it.
Very
versa.
mature. Yeah.
See,
very mature.
I think, what you just said, because what is being said in a vulnerable moment, is being used a lot of time.
Yeah.
And even vice versa, because I've talked to people that, even the man, things that he learned, like maybe this lady's bodies count or how many people she's been with before, he just kind of used it against her and all. Why are you laughing? He just kind of used it against her and all of that. But when I speak about the communication part, I'm not saying that it's right for a man to lock up, because that is what I teach people. I say I'm a person that advocates for men speaking out, because when you lock up so much, you either implode or explode.
Yes.
So please, as men, let us talk, let us communicate. Find ways that you can talk to your woman. It's not an easy thing.
I think the biggest problem in communication is a lot of people are very accusatory.
Yeah.
It's always about the attack. You make me feel like this, so it's you. Why you? And human beings, the moment you use the word you, I want to defend myself.
Yeah.
Because I already feel like you're attacking me.
And again, we need to understand that men would think more about logic. Women would think more about emotion. If you ask a man what he feels, he's going to tell you what he thinks. If you ask a woman what she thinks, she's going to tell you what she feels. To be honest, man, sometimes when I think about these things, I think God just kind of created us and said, men have this character, women have this character, and he wants to watch back and just laugh at us. How we mess with ourselves. Mess with ourselves.
There is no balance, actually.
I'm trying to say,
as good as evil, there will always be good and there will always be evil. There has to be a balance.
A lot of times we need to educate ourselves, both as men and women, to understand how the opposite gender thinks and what they feel. So also in marriages, there's a question I want to ask. Why do you think people go out in marriages? When I mean go out, I'm talking about infidelity, cheating, and all of that. Why do people feel the need to have something outside, in their marriages?
Is it both genders? Both genders,
okay.
Yeah. I'm not married. Don't even tell me. I'm not married.
It's like I have a lot to say on the topic.
No, I know.
The only reason I can think of why, so I'm going to talk from a man perspective now. Like, why would a man want to, both genders, right, go out of their marriage is, first of all, respect for the man, then value for the woman. Women were all about value. If I'm in a relationship and I don't feel valued, I'm not seen, I'm not heard, when the temptation comes knocking, it's so easy to just, forget the vows that you took and the commitment that you've made, right? Then for men, it's respect. When they see some, person out there and that really sees them as the king that they are, when the temptation arises, it's easy for them to, sleep and fall into that.
They are the ones looking for the temptation.
I think
some men are the ones looking for it.
I think for this thing, let's say both genders, if a man goes outside, the guy doesn't want to blow a knot. Generally speaking, a lot of times there's no really much emotional things attached to it. Then you say something that kind of triggered me. And you said the lady is not valued, she's not respected, Abby. And that makes her go out. Is it the man that is wiping her disrespectfully that is respecting her? Is it the man that does not even give an F about her existence or what happens after the sex that is respecting her? Is it the man that does not even care if you go to sick bed when you are sick? Is it that same man you're talking about that you can cheat with that will respect you more than the man that you feel like is not respecting you but put you at home, provide for you, care for you? Come on now.
No, there is more to just providing.
Because the moment a woman is married and in a relationship
needs.
and she comes to give me Punjabi, Jesus Christ. It's a whole different thing entirely. I'm talking about why they go after that. For a man own, we can sit down here and not even be able to make any sensible point. Because men, for them, for men, it's just there's nothing on his face for us to hold and say, okay, this is why we go out. But for the women, we can have a lot of things to anchor on and hold. Because women are far more emotionally right? Because women are far more emotionally grounded than men. You see, there's estrogen, testosterone. We both have it. Estrogen is higher on the women's side. That's the reason why people have more emotional reaction. So the one reason why if a woman goes outside to cheat, 8 out of 10 times, 8 or 7 out of 10 times,
she's done with the relationship.
There's emotion involved already.
That she's probably lacking from her husband.
Now, that's the thing, right? If you are with a man that is probably a busy type, hardworking, you will lose attention. You will lose care. I keep telling you this thing. There are 2 things a woman wants: care and comfort. Care, attention, romance, comfort, the lifestyle, money, and everything. Those 2 things cost time to get. To give care to a woman, it costs me time.
True.
To get comfort to give to a woman, it costs me time.
True.
So if you're telling me now to give you attention, that broke boy that is texting you every day, he's jobless. He's very jobless. So that's why he can text you every morning and night. Me that is thinking of how I want to take care of you, take care of the kids, and have to get more money to elevate our life. You are getting angry at me for not giving you communication.
Does that mean you should neglect it?
Wait, no.
In
you will not neglect it. But you ask the woman, it's not left for you now to use your number 6 to know that this is the reason why this is existent. The lack of attention is because of this reason. The lack of ability for you to think shows how you are not grounded in that relationship.
Can I tell you something? Most men above 40, what kind of sex that they have not had in their life already?
Yeah.
A lot of times going to see another woman, it's not even about the sex. It's about the way that lady makes them feel. A lot of times, ladies get married, and I speak to a lot of married men, and I hear this, and it's almost similar. There's this see finish that comes with
being married for
a while.
Yes.
That man that you were respecting at the beginning, you start feeling like, and I've said this before, women, you can sell things to them very easy.
Yeah.
So you can be as a man, be on your A game, trying to do what you want to do. But a woman, maybe there's a new wig that just came into town or something. And she feels her happiness lies down there.
Yes.
Okay, she saw that somebody took his wife to the Bahamas for something. She feels that that's where her happiness lies and so many other things. Then there's a pressure on this man that, since I can't provide this or I can't provide this right now, the respect starts reducing. I've had a friend, he got divorced after 2 years. And, it got to a point where the lady, he's doing everything in the house, trying to build himself. A normal guy, he's a lawyer, trying to do his thing. And then my guy the girl is telling him that, you want to sleep with me while your mates are building houses in in Guzapi and all of that. Imagine
that was what
telling
you
that
said earlier, right? That was never the woman for him. He married wrong.
To a man. You understand?
Yeah.
But at the beginning of this thing, it wasn't like that. He felt like he met the perfect person.
He didn't pay enough attention
and all of that.
That's what I think.
It's not just about him. People are pretenders. The same way a lot of men are narcissists and very wicked and abusers, and you are never going to see that at the early stage and all of that. But it gets to a point where these things start coming out. You understand? So back to what I was saying is that a lot of guys go to their side chick because once they get into their houses, guess what? That girl is calm, playing a soft music, wearing something revealing. And for him, listen. You might not have to agree, but this is the truth about a lot of men. That lady, he's coming back from the office. She's playing a nice music. Everywhere is scented. I think there's a place in the Bible that talks about learn from the book of the prostitute or something, how she lays her bed, how she scents her room and all of that. This is what a lot of women don't know that are in marriages. You understand? You have to make that man feel comfortable because the way you look at it, money is not the same for a man and a woman. You as a girl now, you have received so many gifts for you being fine. You have received so many few.
No, don't be speaking for me.
No, I'm just telling you. Except there's some spiritual thing wrong with you. You being a fine girl, you have received food, you have received gifts, you have received money that you wouldn't get if you were a man. Now, the majority of men have to work for every damn thing. If a man works and give you money, even though it's 50,000 naira, please appreciate that because that is his blood that he's giving to you. Yeah. A lot of women don't understand this. They downplay that thing, that resources that come from a man. There's no part in our lives that we get things for free. There's no part in our life. I've seen guys sing, they will just see a girl, give her $200. Oh, you're a fine girl. Don't even collect her number. Nothing.
True.
Where?
Yes.
Yeah, it happens.
Yes, so
it happens.
Yes, honestly, it does. When I was still dating, you go to clubs and they'll just pray you. They don't collect your number.
Nothing like that. You receive favors.
You're fine. You're just supposed to be stressing.
Right now, women are so much in the workforce. Do you know that there are a lot of things you get as a woman that your counterparts that are male, that are even more qualified than you, would not get, but because you're a woman, you get these things, you get these favors. And that's why a lot of women are doing way better than men right now. You understand? So now you just have to be realistic with it. So all the side chicks, what they're out there, and we can also argue that the wives don't get the side chicks don't get the same pressure that the wife gets at home, taking care of the kids and all of that. But please try as much as possible when you can do it. Because this is why side chick and, husbands will always exist. Sugar daddy and sugar babies will always exist. What the men are looking for is the respect. What the women are looking for is the comfort.
I think I said the same thing. There is always that something they are looking for that they are not getting from where they are.
Definitely.
It's about value. If the woman is not comfortable, not being seen, not being valued, when the temptation comes, it's easier. It's easier to just fall in than when you are having something and you're like, what am I even looking for? I have it here. But if it's not there, it's easy to just. And so for the men, they need to be respected, valued, appreciated. Most men don't get.
Sorry, can I ask this question? Why do married women think that the baddies are winning?
I don't think they feel they are winning. Maybe I'm just going to speak from my perspective.
Let's be honest, man.
No, this is me.
You seen that body going on 6 trips?
Has emotional needs that only one man.
You want that shit?
I don't see that.
Would you like to be on 6 trips abroad?
Yes.
Of
and you see that body getting it. You don't think she's winning?
I'm not envious of things like that.
But most women are.
Yeah, you see
her with that Birkin bag.
Yeah. What?
You see her with that Birkin bag. And
I work hard. So I want to go on trips. I want my hard work to pay off. So yes. Yeah. But Not because I want it to be
but the
because
bodies are
somebody
not
else
winning.
has it.
I
The
don't.
bodies are not winning. Please, can we just stop saying this thing?
Yeah.
They
But
are
the
not.
notion is that they are winning.
Now,
That's
let me break it down to
Only
how
if,
they're not winning.
I think if
right?
you're vain, you might think that. Alright, let me tell you. When I see
Next
someone
topic.
expose their
They are not.
their body online, the first thing that comes to my mind is not, oh, she's hot. The first thing is like, how damaged is this person? That's the
Yes.
first thing that comes to my mind. So I don't envy all those.
That
things.
is you. That is not the
You
other.
asked me.
Yeah. I don't think the bodies are winning.
Not the other
bodies, at the end of the day,
99.999%.
when everything's all said and done,
So they are
and their
alone.
prime is done,
Yes.
right? Reality sets in. Reality is waiting for
It's
bodies.
emptiness.
It's waiting for them
Emptiness.
at the end. Now,
Yes.
you talk about the bodies, right? The body is getting, like Pharaoh said, different men, gift from this man, gift from that man,
Trips.
gift from that man, to be able to have those 6 trips, right? Now, what me as a man gave to this body, probably I gave her ₦1 million, right? I've given my wife like 3 million.
Yes.
I've given my wife like 3 million, right? So, me, 1 million to her, the other man, 1 million to her, other man, 1 million to her. So if you share it individually, their wife against the body individually, not collectively,
has
the
won.
wives are winning.
Yes.
The wives have the lifestyle. The wives have the access to the cars, access to the house, access to the
Yes,
account.
so
Children are
Access
taken
to-
care
so
of.
what does the body really have?
And guess what the body have? The body
bodies are
have
louder.
trauma.
Trauma.
Yes,
Do you know how many of them have met? Do you know how many of them have
Different
met and they have to be on drugs to even sleep with those men?
Yes.
No,
They have
why are
to
we
be
calling
on
them
drugs.
bodies?
They have to
I think people that you are describing bodies are
Bodies
not
are for fun.
Yeah.
calling them body. You know, why are you
No,
body? You're not
bodies
a
are
body.
for
The
fun.
real bodies are not what you're describing.
There is nothing.
The real
there is
bodies
nothing-
are the high value
body,
women.
Women,
Pharaoh,
yeah.
there is
I
nothing
know that.
How is
exalting
how is a
body.
high value woman a
A body.
body?
Yes.
No. I mean by this
No, I mean,
standard. When you
the
say
terms
someone
of
is a
the-
body,
It's
you're not saying you're a body.
So the definition,
hello.
right? I
A
think-
body is a high form of an olosho.
Bam.
A high name.
Is that-
Oh, really?
This is new
That
update.
is what it is.
New, because
New
I used to
information.
call,
You see-
I call myself
You mean they call myself
a
body,
top-rated
oh,
body because
Please stop it.
Stop it.
Stop
I
it.
had no
That is
idea
not the
that's what
definition of a
body-
body,
oh,
please.
okay.
Like,
Wow.
you are a classy, high value woman.
Oh,
you
wow.
are not a body. Or the best you can say, maybe a boss chick. I can
Okay.
understand that
Wow,
one.
okay.
But
That's even
anything
worse.
body.
That's even worse.
I
Like
can
boss
see-
lady, boss chick is
boss
worse
chick.
for me.
How?
Because see, you are already identifying yourself to be masculine.
No,
But
see,
that's what me, I strongly believe.
Bro, let me tell you something, right? See, you can be a body outside because these days women are working, and to be honest, to be successful in certain careers, you have to be masculine as a woman.
True.
But the thing that you need to understand is that once you step into the door of your husband's house, you stop being that boss chick and becoming Mr. James' wife.
Yeah.
So the problem is that a lot of women don't know how to distinguish
that
this.
balance. Yeah.
So you have shouted on your workers all day and all of that.
Start talking to your husband too.
And
Like,
then-
this.
And it's harder for single ladies because I met a really successful realtor and interior decorator. This girl is big. Now, she's unmarried and she's getting to her 40s. Then I spent a day with her because we're doing a job together. And I'm looking at myself. I said, okay, I could be a potential guy that would marry this lady. If you see the way this girl talks to her workers, and sometimes it's necessary. But I mean, this will just drive a lot of people away from you as a lady. So women need to understand to walk in their softness, in their femininity, because
Very important.
I believe the feminine energy is even the greatest energy on earth.
Yeah.
But women have been deceived to become masculine and think they want to compete with
Pharaoh.
men. And they are failing woefully at it.
See why I
Trust
disagree
me.
to boss lady. This is why I disagree to that word boss lady. Your name is your identity. Pharaoh, you are bearing Pharaoh for a reason. That's identity. I'm bearing king for a reason. That's my identity. So I move accordingly. The moment a girl came in my life and her name was Simba. Simba one thing. I'm serious.
Or king.
It's Simba, that's her name. Simba and then her phone thing. Then I had another girl that her name was it not
Lady
King?
Boss
She
or
could have said
King.
King. Then I told her, I said, and the first thing before they even talk, I tell them you are masculine by default. They're like, how do you mean? I said, your name is your identity. You call yourself a boss lady. You've already identified yourself to be masculine. You are a boss. Boss lady, no need. Boss,
right.
boss is not gender based. It's both for male or female. I'm a boss. I'm a boss. Not really boss lady.
Okay.
I didn't say I'm a boss man.
All right, guys.
That's a
real
wonderful
quick,
perspective.
real
I
quick.
never thought-
Let's Before we go further,
Yeah.
one more point I want to make about this.
Yeah.
The ladies here, would you like a guy that's maybe wear high heels on Wednesdays and Thursdays?
Where a guy that wears
Wear heels.
Why?
Why
and
would a guy?
dress.
Why?
Okay, you see how awkward that sounds, right?
No, why? What's the reason?
No, really, like he likes it. It's part of
He
him.
likes it. So now we need to tell women that you can't really pick and choose when to be masculine or feminine. Work in your feminine energy. Feminine energy is not weakness.
But you just
You
said
understand?
the same. No, you are
Boss-
contradicting yourself.
What?
You just said you can be a boss at work. You can decide to be
I'm not
masculine for some roles.
I'm saying, especially when you're a single lady and when you are within the confine of your home, like with your husband,
Okay.
if you are married.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
So you wouldn't want your husband to exhibit certain feminine, in fact, you will never accept it.
Yeah.
That your husband is exhibiting some kind of feminine attributes like that. So you cannot be in your marriage or your relationship and you are now exhibiting masculine traits.
Okay. I think I understand what you're saying.
That is where I'm going to.
Okay.
All right, thank you. So we'll go straight up to divorce. Right now. Personally, I'm going to say this. If there's no domestic violence involved, I don't think divorce should be an option.
I do not agree.
Well said.
That is
I
my
totally
own point.
I agree with
Yes, if anybody is not hitting you, this is just my opinion. If anybody is not hitting you, especially when there are kids involved, please, I don't think divorce should be an option. Any
As
other
Pharaoh's
thing,
co-host,
any other thing.
I disagree, Baje.
Why you disagree?
I agree with Pharaoh, but
Every
not
other
in
thing can be worked
totality.
on.
No,
Every other thing
is
can be
not
worked
true.
on.
That is not true.
I'd like to hear you. Like, why?
That
Why?
is so
You
not
can-
true.
you can-
Yeah.
So
That
we
is
live
my
in
opinion,
we
though.
live in a society where we think physical abuse is the deal breaker. But I'm going to shock you that based on recent research, emotional abuse is even worse than physical abuse.
Yeah.
See, you can do whatever you want in this life, but do not allow any person destroy your mind. Once your mind is destroyed, that's how people end up in arrow. That's how people end up with drugs and become addicts. Relationship has done that to them. So if you are with someone who is constantly derailing and destroying your mind, it is a ground for divorce.
Okay.
And I say it with my full chest. So it's not until they hit you. When people tell you, but it did not beat you now, why did you now go? You should stay away from people like that because they really don't understand your struggles.
True.
People have been through a lot. Like, literally mad. They might be looking all beautiful outside, but when they open their mouth and talk, you're like, who did this to you? Who turned you to this? And then it's one relationship, one love that she gave her all and did all sort of, nonsense. And this is now, she's like caricature of herself. And you're telling me she shouldn't have walked away? You should have run.
That's why I said I'll agree with Pharaoh because he said the word abuse. I disagree with him when he says if it's only abuse can take many forms.
Different forms. Financial abuse, emotional abuse,
many forms.
cultural abuse.
Yes.
It's so many.
This is why women are divorcing.
This is why women are divorcing.
And the highly educated women divorce
you give
more.
your abuse.
Highly educated women divorce
the
more.
more information you're exposed to. I mean, you can't
any form
something.
of abuse. Please,
Any
run,
form. Any
Please,
form.
I will say this.
King, can I just say this? Let me just clear the air on this. See, especially when kids are involved, like I said, look at the stats of kids that are doing poorly, even from school to when they are grown up. Check it, they are from divorced homes, especially single moms' home. The highest homeless people are from single mom home. The highest people from prison. The highest people that are jobless, the highest criminals are for single mom homes. I just want to say that a lot of things that you feel you're going through mentally in your relationship, your man is going through double, triple of that. The thing is that men don't talk.
Yeah.
Which is worse.
Men don't talk.
Well, what will you do?
Because it's very easy for ladies to talk because they get a good reception of what they are saying and all of that. I want to tell you something that it's even living as a single person, life is still hard. Life is hard being married. Life will be hard regardless. Old age will come. You start having some sicknesses. Life will be hard. What we need to be doing is to train our people, our young ones, how to have a strong mind to handle things, to face problems and all of that. Personally, I feel even though it's a mental problem, someone is driving you crazy, there's a way to get past that. A lot of people you see in 25 years marriages, 30 years marriages, go and ask how they were in their 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. A pastor's wife was telling me how the pastor, who is now the general overseer, he used to hit her at some point. But she walked through that, which I didn't advise her. I wouldn't advise anybody to. Once they lay their hand on you, that is another level again. You understand? Once they lay their hand on you, she said he hit her, but right now he's the perfect husband that she ever hopes for, and all of that. So I think every other thing can be worked on, especially when there are kids involved. People are being too selfish these days.
Yeah. So the willingness, they
are being too selfish these days. This is both men and women. Any little thing, they just want to get out of the marriage. Every little thing, they have to get out of the marriage. And then they will now create this facade that they look better when they divorce and all of that. A lot of women are not even looking good in their husband's house because they feel like there's no need to look good in their husband's house. They already have this man. They don't have work to do anymore. Then immediately they divorce. I'm not saying everybody. There are people that are traumatized and that's affecting their look. But I'm telling you that a lot of women still feel like, I'm telling you, we are the men. We are telling you something. Like, there are girls
they let go of themselves.
We are living in a digital age that you can't open your Instagram without seeing somebody in a sexy clothes, in a this, in a that. Some women cannot even do that for their husbands. Some women, I applaud you that you said you were even doing it and someone was telling you, why are you doing this for your husband? See, men, let it be. We can get freaky inside. I'm not telling you to go and do it outside, but get freaky, get nice outside. All of a sudden, this woman will divorce, and then because she's now open to the dating market, she'll start using more makeup, doing more surgeries, doing more stuff, and then everybody will now be like, wow, that man is such a bad man. Oh. And again, let me tell you something. Women like to be victims. Do you know that studies have shown that because of the willingness for women to be pitied, to feel like they are victims, they intentionally choose men that are bad for them. That's a study. You can go check it out. Go check it out.
Wow.
Like, I'm not saying everybody, but
why would you
a great percentage of women wants
we talked about what you attract,
want to feel pitied.
Yeah.
And again, you said something is the way they grew up. Some people just want to have that victim mentality and all of that.
And
a lot of us are walking trauma.
The victim mentality will make them feel heard or something like that. I don't know what it is. But I just want to say, if there's no physical abuse, I think other things can be worked on for the greater purpose.
How about emotional abuse? How do you fix? How do you walk through an emotional abuse?
You can work on it. It can be worked on.
How can you?
It can be worked on with your partner.
You person.
Yeah.
Like how?
Yes,
what do you mean
it can be worked on. You can work on that person. That man.
You can't work on something if you yourself are not sound. So that's the problem.
Get help.
Both of them. So like I said, it's the willingness. If you're both willing to go through it. But I really suggest that if you're going through emotional abuse, space is the first thing you both need. You both need to go work on yourself individually. Maybe over time you can now find your way back to each other.
I think women are loyal to their feelings and how they feel. Because if men want to come out and say what they pass through in marriages, they will be the first one to leave.
And I think they should.
I'm not
talking for women. Okay,
but we understand the greater purpose.
Abused by women.
I have children that I don't want them to turn into criminals because they need a masculine and feminine energy in the house.
That thing you just said, right?
You understand?
It doesn't always apply.
It applies 80% of the time.
Always apply.
Which thing is that?
This of you need a man and a woman need to stick together for the sake of their child.
Children.
Ooh. Yeah. Sometimes some children are better off with their parents being apart.
Blood of Jesus.
Yes. I can tell you for a fact.
How?
I
Because
disagree.
see, let me
I disagree. That's why I say
when a
if they
child, when a child constantly sees his or her parent arguing, fighting, I don't mean hitting each other, but saying some words to each other regularly, it damages their mind.
True.
It does. But if parents like that decide that, you know what, let's take some time and love this child individually and remove that nastiness, the child
that
starts
causes
to
a lot
do
of
better.
it causes more harm to the child. I want to tell you something from personal
whose
experience.
standards, yeah.
From personal experience, I'm not gonna lie. My parents were almost gonna separate. Like there was a time my dad left the house. You know.
Were you seeing them fight constantly?
I mean, there were arguments definitely that we saw, but I know what I felt not seeing my parents together. It was messy, to be honest. I know what I felt. It was just 2 weeks and it was messy. And then people had to intervene. Uncles, aunties came in and then they came back together. I know what I felt at that time.
What did you feel?
I felt really terrible. I felt really bad. Like why I was going to where my dad was, talking to him, going to where being in the house with my mom, talking to my mom and all of that.
So there was no stability.
There was no stability and it messed me up mentally. And then I think I was 7 or 8.
But how nasty was your fight?
All of that. No, it never got physical. But I mean, they were exchanging of words and all of that. You know, so I feel like for the greater good, I think people should stay together. But the way I draw the line for me personally is when anybody touch the other person. That is where I draw the line, because that touch now can just mean that, you know, that's the end of life and all of that.
Why do we get married? It's not about I and the woman. It's about the children, the legacy we're about to build. I tell people this thing, that this society that we are in now makes up from the family we all came from. If the society is bad right now, it's because we have more broken homes. If we want society to become good, homes need to stay together and become good. Because I understand something, that while growing up, I thought my family was how every family is supposed to be. My father did his role, my mother did his role, they were all together. And when I came out and I started talking to my classmates and everybody, I saw that a lot of them will not want to go home for 1 year. They're like, oh, I don't talk to my brother. And then I got to understand that it started from the home. Those broken people, check out them. They started from the home, like Pharaoh said. The most broken people come from single parents' home. And then you are saying, it's not going to affect each other much. It will. Let me tell you how. If a boy grows without the mother and only the father, he will be very stern, not have emotional availability to himself to even understand anybody's emotion. Too hard. And now, if that same boy is being trained by only a woman, he will be so flamboyant that he will not be able to make a stand for himself as a man. He will be simpish as hell. They will train him to be like a woman. Now, let's talk about the female child. If a female grows with the mother will teach the child how to be independent. But the father will teach her how to be a woman for a man to support her. If the girl only grow with the father will teach the girl how to be like a boy. Then the mother will not be there to balance out. Okay, as a woman, you enter kitchen and you do this. So in both parents, in both child, right there, the energy is needed. Because both a man need to have his masculinity and his femininity intact, but his masculinity will be higher. For a woman, her femininity and her masculinity will be there, but the femininity should be higher. The moment there's a broken home, one becomes higher. If it's in a woman, masculinity will supersede. If it's in a man, femininity will supersede.
For me, it was a case of death. For me, it was a case of death. My mom died when I was very young, about 10 years old. So I was practically raised by my dad, right? And I think I agree with King here. I grew up, I was so independent. I fighting for myself, making sure I have whatever I have was giving. I never relied on. I see girls now, they are like, oh, they are fine, they can get gifts. Those kind of things never happened to me. Like I just enrolled in a course to help me know how to style myself. Dressing wasn't taught. Nobody taught me how. I started cooking in my husband's house. Yes.
Wow.
Those things, if I had my mom, she would have taught me all those things.
Yeah.
All the soups I know how to cook now, some were taught to me by my mother-in-law. a lot of them I learned in my husband's house.
Nice.
So
No wonder
he's
your
right.
first year was Basel.
So it's right. Every home needs both parents.
Definitely.
But when there's abuse, then you know.
All right, guys. So we'll be back, and we'll be back with our trendy topics.